Before we proceed, let me start with this. I fancy myself a connoisseur of tiny base gadgets, which is ironic because I'm a very big guy. I love short scale bases and tiny travel bases, as well as gadgets such as amp plugs, headphone amps, tiny amps, or other portable silent practice devices. I like to keep updated with the new technologies that are very small. I have collected a few of these items, and as far as my knowledge is concerned, I can tell you this. The base you're about to see, man, it's going to be really difficult to beat this guy. The situation I find myself in is that my band, Pumpkin Dancer, please follow us on social media. I'm going to put all the info in the description box below. You can also give our album a listen. Also going to be in the description box below. We haven't really been active the entire month of October and up until now. But we have a gig on the 29th of October, so there's really not a lot of time left for preparation. So I thought to myself that the least I can do was practice hard on my own so that I know my parts inside and out and just have to rely on my current chemistry with my bandmates to survive this whole thing, which I'm pretty confident in. But what compounded my lack of preparation time is the fact that I find myself needing to travel next week. So I thought about if there's such a way to get a base that I can travel with so I can keep practicing whilst I'm away. This is where mayonnaise comes in. See, I've known about the mayonnaise Cali 4. When I first saw it on YouTube, when it first came out, and I got curious, so I went to their website and I found a local Philippine distributor for it, and I contacted the Philippine distributor just so that I could get all the facts straight in this story. I actually looked up when I did that, and actually that was far back in 2019. And basically, long story short, the distributor said he didn't carry it at the moment, and he couldn't commit whether or not he was going to carry it. So forget about trying to commit when it's going to a date to when it's going to be coming. He said he wasn't even sure if he was going to carry it. So fast forward to the end of October, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's November 16 now, I think, as I mentioned. I thought about the Cali 4 again because I really wanted it. I didn't bother trying to find the local distributor because I suspect probably isn't the distributor in the Philippines anymore. In fact, I don't think they even have one because I don't really see a lot of mayonnaise in being used by local Filipino musicians, so I'm pretty sure there's no distributor. So I went on the website and I filled a contact form with all my questions, everything I need to know, and inquiring about availability and how to order. Normally, when I fill up these contact forms on websites, I don't get a reply. That's normal. If I do, which is very good, I don't get it within a few days or a week or even a few weeks. It's not very immediate. Much to mayonnaise's credit, not only did they answer me immediately, they answered me within the day. And when the exchange moved from emails, into the email platform, the timeliness of the replies never slowed down. So in a few days, we had a very long and productive email exchange. I got in touch with a man named Artur, whose last name I will not try to pronounce because it's a Polish last name, the vocabulary of a person of my ethnicity. It's not structured that way. So if I tried to say his name, I probably will not say it right. So I'm not even going to try. He told me, answered all my questions on the email, and then just like a shot of destiny, he said, also, that's actually what we're working on right now. That's what we're producing right now. So wow, it's a sign, you know. So I replied to him with my interest, and his reply to that was to attach photos of the batch that they were producing so I could pick which one I like. The reply for this one took a little longer for me because I was debating between two. There was a purple one because I love the color purple. I don't have a purple base. And the other one is a blue-green, aqua, teal, however you call it, one that is like my number one base, Ariel, the Stingray. I'm going to put a picture up there. There she is. For the people who saw the thumbnail, you know which one I picked. So I picked that one. Then he asked, next email he asks how I would prefer to settle the payment, whether it's PayPal or bank transfer. I chose PayPal. He replied with a PayPal pay request, to which I acted on and replied with a confirmation. He replied that email with a tracking number. He sent my base out. Fast forward to a week or two, or however long that was, to Monday, last Monday, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, something like that. And my cuteness, Cali 4, is here, and I've been playing it, and I'm going to tell you more about it right after this. Cuteness is an instrument manufacturer based in Poland. It specializes in handcrafted guitars and basses. So if you understand that, you know that what makes them special is that they are not mass-produced, and that each and every instrument that they create is handcrafted meticulously. The Cali 4 is the model of this bass, 4 for 4-string, and yes, Cali is short for something. And I wouldn't blame you if you think it's a California, because that's how people shorten California, right? Cali, California. But actually, California is another bass brand's model name. The Cali that we speak of is short for Caledonius, which is Cuteness's full-size version of their single-cut neck-through with very exotic and pretty woods bass. Looks exactly like the Cali. It comes in this gray gig bag. It has a shoulder sling that is long enough that you can wear it like this, like a sling bag. It has really good padding. I'm going to open it up right now. It's got really good padding. I'm going to try to see if I can open it up here. Bass is inside, by the way. The padding is quite soft, but the outer walls are quite rigid. The padding is inside. There is a neck piece right there. It's very soft. The rest of your neck has Velcro straps. You can actually move this. I don't know why you would, though. It's in the perfect place to hold everything steady while you're in travel. The Dario humidity packs are not included. They're an add-on from me, to deal with the tropical weather that we have here. That's my thing. So yeah, its base is secured. You can see them right there. You can see that there's also a front pocket zipper. Let's go through what was inside the pocket. I actually removed it. So I'm just going to go through it. So inside the pocket, you have a little booklet like this. What's inside is the spec sheet, a spec sheet certificate, and a few other things like a user manual and some reading material and information about the bases. There's also a tiny baggie, which I think is still inside, with Allen wrenches that go inside, that used for the, here it is, a little baggie with Allen wrenches. What was also in this little baggie that I already removed, and that I already removed is the shallower strap locks, which I put on my fancy schmancy white leather strap by Levy's Leathers. This is the shallower strap lock that was in the baggie. I removed it and I put it in there. And also, what was the last thing that was inside the pouch, the front pouch, is this. It's a cable. More on that a little bit later. This is the base. Isn't she pretty? I'll be going through the specs of the one, at least the ones I can see. You can see with your eyes. The things that I could remember off the top of my head. As mentioned here, there are shallower strap locks on it. The other half is on the strap already. Also, there are lightweight shallower tuners, matching colored headstock, lightweight black tuners in a 2+2 configuration. The headstock this has a scale length of 17.1 inches, very short. The strings are lighter gauge, round wound strings. The G string is 0.3 gauge. The D string is 0.44, A string is 0.63, and the E string is 0.82. So I'm sure you're wondering, where would one go to buy strings for mayonnaise? Because as you can imagine, with the scale length and the gauge are both very unique, and you're not going to be able to find it everywhere. Well, mayonnaise are the ones who made the string. Also, just in case it wasn't obvious, or for people who are not that familiar, the light gauges of these strings, as well as the scale length, means that this mayonnaise Cali 4, and every mayonnaise Cali 4, is actually a piccolo bass. For those who don't know what a piccolo bass is a bass that is tuned an octave higher than a standard bass, meaning an open E, A, D, and G string is the equivalent of playing on the 12th fret of a regular bass. So if you're a bass soloist that likes to travel light, this is your friend. Other uses for the piccolo bass is if you would like to have a very thick layer of in recording, you could double track your bass lines on this for the high register, and then double track it with the bass lines that you play on your regular bass, and it'll have this nice thick sound in recording. If you're going to use this for jamming with your band, you might need to bring an octave pedal, because this register might get lost in the mix, especially when you're playing alongside guitars and keyboards and stuff. This is not a problem for me personally, because I never go to rehearsal without my pedal board, and my pedal board always has an octave pedal. You see the two-piece bridge, mayonnaise bridge, humbucking pickup, the mayonnaise Velvetrone humbucker. Now we look at the hardware, the little knobby things. We have 3 knobs, or 4. This one's concentric. That counts as 2, right? So it's 4 knobs. This is for the volume, mid, and the concentric bass and treble knob. We have a switch here to turn off and on what I think is the coolest feature of this bass, and that's this. See, this bass is called the dual output. It's a design. It's a addition to the design starting 2021. Previous iterations do not have a dual output. What you have here is a standard output for where you plug your amp, and this one is a headphone output for a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. The switch will turn it off and on. So this is the regular preamp. When it's in the down position, it's the regular preamp for the active circuits. If you flick it up to the up position, that turns on the headphone amp. Public service, by no means and under no circumstances should you plug your headphones directly into your bass, unless it's made by Mayonnaise and it has one of these things. Mayonnaise, I believe, is the only manufacturer that does have a headphone preamp and allows you to plug your headphones directly into your bass. I wish, however, that they also added an aux in. that would allow me to carry a lot less gear if I have to travel and practice, because I usually use my phone to play backing tracks for my practice, or I play off of YouTube and play off of songs. However, I do have this. I'm bringing this with me to my travel. My Ampeg SGT-DI. It has a headphone out and an aux in right there. So, so it's not much of a nitpick to say we should do an aux in. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you want me to add an aux in, considering the fact that this is already kind of advanced. I'm asking a little too much, and I'm being a little too greedy by asking for an aux in. Thing about that is this: Mayonnaise has another model of bass called the Commodus, that has a short scale version of the bass, and the short scale Commodus not only has a dual output, but right next to it has an aux in. So basically, Mayonnaise has the technology to do that, and I really truly hope that they integrate an aux in input jack in their future models of the Cali 4. To the bass, we have 24 frets. Although, if you look at it, the highest frets are so close apart that if you compare them to my fingers, I could be plucking the wrong notes. I mentioned before that this is the Mayonnaise Velvetrone humbucker pickup. Previous iterations have an Aguilar humbucker. So let's take a look at the back of the Cali 4 bass. It's a neck through. Look at all the pretty stripes. You can see that there is a little bit of a contour, like a thing there, like to allow you better access to the higher frets. Again, they're so close apart. My fingers are too fat, and that's really cool. And so I think that's pretty much what everything else I talked to you about. One more thing though, remember that little cable from the gig bag I said I was going to talk to you about later? Well, I'm going to bring it up now. So previous iterations of the Cali 4 do not have this, but we have this. These are, as you can see here, there are 4 little LED lights. The top one is for if the preamp is on, which is off right now. Second one is if the preamp is discharged. The second one is if it's fully charged, and the third one is going to be on if it's charging. And here we have a port to plug in this cable. It's rechargeable, y'all. Okay, now we're going to go to the spec sheet. But before we do that, earlier I spoke of the previous iterations of the Cali 4 bass. These are the designs from before the year 2021. Whilst they are no longer regularly produced, I believe you can still order a Cali 4 bass with this design through their custom shop website. So let's talk about the differences between the pre-2021s and the current the 2021 onwards Cali 4 basses. On the website, if you look it up, they will fall under the heading of pre-2021 and dual output. The current productions are called dual output because of the output jack for the headphones and the regular jack for the amplifiers. The pre-2021 designs actually has more choices. You can choose one with or without the headphone amp. In the models that have the headphone amp, the headphone jack is actually right next to the switch, not right next to the output jack. And also, it only has 2 knobs. The switch for the Cali bass with the headphone output has 3 settings and functions, which are passive, and then passive plus headphone preamp, or active plus headphone preamp. The one without the headphone preamp is the one with the same switch configuration as mine, but it does not have a headphone preamp. It does have the switch, but the switch's functions is to switch between active and passive preamp. They also offer these options in the VF4 model. The Cali VF4 is the multi-scale fan fret version. Now, the VF4 does not appear to have a charging port. However, the regular not fan fret ones do. The other difference is that the pickups are different. In the pre-2021 design, they use Aguilar DCB dual ceramic soap bar pickups and an Aguilar preamp and the headphone amp as well. Yeah, those are the difference. Here's the spec sheet. There are some pieces of information on the spec sheet that I don't memorize off the top of my head, and there are some information about there's some information on this spec sheet that is only relevant to my unit, just like the body woods, which I'm sure you guys are wondering after seeing the base, what type of wood we're using for this base. The thing with that, the explanation for that is kind of an odd one, because in order for me to explain why you can't go online to their website and find out what wood the Cali 4 is made of is basically this. The explanation is that the Cali 4 is made from leftover wood from the production of regular sized instruments. These cuts of wood that are left over were too small for regular sized instruments. So they had to figure out a way to make use of them instead of just turning them into waste wood or making them firewood or whatever. Could you imagine such wonderful cuts of wood that are just too small having to be wasted and become firewood just because they had no purpose? Well, they do now. That's how the Cali 4 came out to be. They created a small base so that they can make use of the leftover wood from instruments. So basically, the big version of the big version of my base, is in Mayonnais's facility, or maybe it's in the facility of one of their distributors/wholesalers in the world. And also, I don't think that the big version of my base is even really a Caledonius. In fact, I don't even think it's really a bass. It could be leftover from a guitar. So the big version of my bass could be a guitar. That's how that came to be. So now we're just going to walk through the stuff that I left out and I'm going to read out the spec sheet. The spec sheet, the neck wood is Exotic 1, Wenge, Mahogany, Purple Heart, and Maple 11 ply. You see that? The wood for the fretboard is Paufero. The wood top is I Poplar 3A. I think that's where the paint is. The wood body, the bottom of the body is Black Limba. And then the other piece of information that I wasn't able to tell you because I don't remember is that the preamp is Musashi Nitoryu 3EQ 3-band preamp with headphone system. That's pretty much it. Now we play.
Slapping the bass, mommy. Slapping the bass, mommy.
Wow, that was a great play-in demo, wasn't it? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. One more thing. As per tradition, I think it's customary for me to name my bass. I've named them all. So, I've decided to give my bass a name, and I dub the Cupie. Yep, my bass's name is Cupie. Because, okay, try to contain all the laughter. Bye now.